LeBron, you're 100% right on these girls hating on Caitlin Clark. Y'all petty girls.
The way that she controls the game and play makes and gets everybody involved, but also, the step backs and her shot. She reminds me a lot of Luka in the sense of like, they both can control the game so well.
Let's be real. The WNBA has never seen anything like Caitlin Clark. From her college dominance to instantly becoming the face of an entire league, Clark walked into the pros carrying a target on her back and a spotlight brighter than anyone before her. But behind the highlight reels and endorsement deals, something's brewing. Because while fans are obsessed with her, many players seem divided, and some are not even trying to hide it.
These ladies, and I'm a WNBA fan, they cannot have this Caitlin Clark thing up any worse if they tried. People believe what we say on television. Just because people don't like you or your personality, they can't get on TV and slander you. It's just total bullshit.
From subtle shade in interviews to cold body language on the court, it's becoming impossible to ignore. Caitlin Clark isn't just disrupting defenses, she's disrupting locker rooms. And here's where the comparison gets wild. NBA players once voted Tyrese Haliburton as the most overrated player, despite his heroics, his playoff success, and his Olympic nod. So if NBA players can hate on one of their own, imagine what's happening in a league fighting for recognition, fighting for airtime, and now fighting over one woman who changed everything. This isn't about basketball anymore. It's about power, image, and ego. Caitlin Clark didn't just enter the WNBA, she redefined what it means to be marketable. And that's got veterans and purists questioning everything they've built. So, are WNBA players really supporting the game's biggest star, or are they silently rooting for her downfall? Because from what we're seeing, the cracks in this sisterhood are starting to show.
Supporting Caitlin Clark for a while and what she's been doing for the games. This is my first time seeing him in person, so it's been dope.
What was it like when you saw her hit that three?
Which one? The one that broke the record was crazy. I think she put up 2 feet beyond half court, so.
And it's not pretty. Before we dig in, hit that like button, because what's happening behind the WNBA curtain is bigger than anyone's ready to admit. When Caitlin Clark was drafted #1 overall by the Indiana Fever, it was supposed to be a new era for the team, for the league, for women's basketball. Overnight, arenas sold out. Jerseys vanished from online stores. ESPN couldn't stop replaying her logo threes. For a league that's been fighting for relevance for nearly 3 decades, Caitlin Clark was a marketing miracle. But inside the league, not everyone was clapping, because while the media painted her as the WNBA's savior, some veterans saw something else. A rookie getting handed the kingdom before earning her crown. The league that preaches equality and sisterhood suddenly had a hierarchy, and Clark was at the top before she even dribbled in her first pro game. You could feel it from day one.
It literally pisses me off when people are like, she's not the face of the league.
Who would be?
What?
Sabrina? No.
No, there's really good, well-known people in our league. I'm not discrediting them. We have a lot of in our league.
Yeah.
Hell yeah to that. I'm all for that. But when people try to argue that she's not the face of our league,
Yeah.
or if our league would be where we're at without her, you're dumb as
Yeah.
You're literally dumb as
So when the cameras focus on her every move, some players see opportunity. But others see a reminder that fame in the WNBA isn't always about skill. It's about spotlight. And that's exactly where the real tension begins. To really understand this tension, you have to look at 3 layers: the court, the culture, and the camera. On the court, Caitlin Clark plays with a fire that borders on arrogance. And that's exactly what makes her elite. She taunts, she talks trash, and she takes deep threes that most players wouldn't even attempt. It's confidence mixed with defiance. But in a league where respect is earned through grind and humility, that attitude doesn't sit well with everyone. Some veterans see it as disrespect. Clark sees it as competition. Then there's the culture.
This woman, Caitlin Clark, she's not the tallest. She doesn't have a crazy frame that, but she got women's basketball on lock right now. And she hasn't really been in it in a while. And a lot of people haven't seen a lot of it. Anything that happens with her is going to be magnified, right? Which is great.
The WNBA has long promoted unity, activism, and equality. A we over me mentality. But Clark's arrival flipped that script. Suddenly, one player was getting more airtime, more endorsements, more followers, and more attention than entire teams combined. She didn't create that system, but she benefits from it. And that's the unspoken resentment. Finally, there's the camera. Every shove, glare, and foul against her becomes viral. Every cold handshake turns into a debate about race, privilege, or respect. The media feeds the fire, framing Clark as either the hero or the villain, depending on who's watching. The result? A league that's split down the middle. Some see Caitlin as the face that'll finally take women's basketball mainstream. Others see her as a symbol of everything that's unfair about how fame is distributed. Either way, she's not just playing the game, she's changing the game's politics. Here's the thing. Everyone says they want the WNBA to grow. More fans, more money, more exposure. But when Caitlin Clark actually delivers that spotlight, suddenly it's too bright. Teammates whisper about favoritism. Opponents grumble about media bias. And every time Clark gets fouled hard, the internet explodes. Not just with highlight clips, but with accusations. They're targeting her. They're jealous. They can't handle her fame. But let's flip that for a second. What if this isn't about jealousy, but about respect? Because when veterans like Diana Taurasi and A'ja Wilson had to climb their way to relevance through years of struggle,
and it would be dishonest for me to say anything other than that if you're just talking about a regular season game to a regular season game, because there's just like a very unique phenomenon, which you guys are well aware of, around her that really makes every broadcast she's involved in feel like this big event.
And if you listen closely, you can hear echoes from the NBA. When Tyrese Haliburton, one of the league's rising stars, was voted most overrated by his own peers, it revealed something ugly. Players don't just compete, they compare. That same energy now lives in the WNBA, because when one player becomes bigger than the brand, every other ego feels a little smaller. Caitlin Clark didn't divide the WNBA. She just exposed the divisions that were already there. To really understand why Caitlin Clark divides players, you have to see how she plays and how she carries herself. Caitlin doesn't play timid. She plays like someone who knows every camera in the arena is already pointed at her. She steps over half court, launches from the logo, talks trash, points at defenders, and celebrates before the shot even drops. It's not arrogance, it's branding. That's what made her a phenomenon at Iowa, and it's what keeps her relevant now. But to her peers, that confidence looks like defiance. Because while many WNBA players had to grind overseas in the offseason just to make ends meet, Caitlin came in as a millionaire rookie with her own shoe deal and corporate backing. She represents a new era of opportunity that most veterans never got. And that's hard to swallow when you're still fighting for pay raises and TV coverage. And here's the deeper truth. Players know how the media works. They see the clicks, the algorithms, the highlight reels, and they know the system isn't fair. A Caitlin Clark crossover gets millions of views. A double-double from an all-star barely trends. That imbalance eats away at locker room chemistry, because attention equals value in today's game. Even inside the Fever organization, there's tension. How do you build team chemistry when one player gets all the cameras, all the sponsorships, and all the questions? How do you lead when you're bigger than the brand you represent? Caitlin Clark's biggest challenge isn't just surviving the WNBA's physicality, it's navigating the politics of fame in a league that's never had a player like her before. Caitlin Clark didn't just join the WNBA, she forced it into a new era. She's not only the most talked about rookie in league history, she's the most watched, the most marketed, and the most polarized.
It's like going to a concert. And the anticipation when she pulls up from 30 feet, the reaction of the crowd, the attention from home, the emotional investment from fans, and a broad stroke of fans is unlike anything I've experienced in the sports that I cover. So covering her games is just a completely unique experience in the best way.
It's not just about basketball. It's about who gets the spotlight, who controls the narrative, and who benefits when success finally arrives. Veterans are right to feel frustrated. They fought for years when no one cared. But fans aren't wrong for celebrating someone who finally made them care. Both truths can exist at once. The Caitlin Clark phenomenon exposes the WNBA's biggest identity crisis. Does it want to be a movement or a marketplace? Because right now, it's trying to be both. And that's why every foul, every headline, every soundbite feels bigger than basketball. It's not just about her jump shot or her stats. It's about what her fame means for everyone else's place in the story. At the end of the day, Caitlin Clark didn't ask to be the face of the WNBA. She just became it by doing what every great player does: win attention through performance. But attention is a dangerous currency. It builds legends and breeds resentment at the same time, because when one player starts breaking records and rewriting the league's economics, people notice. Fans cheer, brands invest, but peers, they watch closely. Some root for her, others wait for her to fall. And that's the quiet truth. In professional sports, admiration and envy are separated by a single viral moment. Caitlin Clark symbolizes a shift that's bigger than basketball. She represents the collision between two eras: the old WNBA that demanded respect through sacrifice, and the new one that demands visibility through influence. She's not the cause of division. She's the mirror reflecting it. And that's what makes this story powerful and uncomfortable. She's forcing the league to evolve, whether it's ready or not. For players, that means adapting or fading. For fans, it means choosing. Do you want a league that plays it safe, or one that dares to compete on a global stage? Because make no mistake, Caitlin Clark isn't going anywhere. The hate, the headlines, the hard fouls, they'll only make her tougher. And one day, even the players who side-eyed her now will realize they weren't watching a rookie. They were witnessing a revolution. If you're still watching, you already know what to do. Like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories shaking up the WNBA. Because the truth, we're just getting started.